Hey gang, it's Monday afternoon and it's been a pretty traumatic day between the attack in Las Vegas, things that are happening in Spain that really kind of hit close to home for me, and Tom Petty passing, which seems arbitrary, but they've all had a tremendous effect on me today. And I want to acknowledge that the episode that you're about to hear is upbeat, and that's because it was recorded before any of this stuff happened. And so I don't want to downplay what's happened today. I think it's tremendously sad, heartbreaking. The Vegas alone was hard enough for me. I had friends that could have been there. They were supposed to go to that concert. They didn't end up going for some reason, and so I'm grateful for that, but it could have been them. I'm sad for the city of Las Vegas and all the people that visited. I'm also personally choked up about Tom Petty because he was a remarkable force in my life, and I think that I probably wouldn't have taken it so hard had Las Vegas not happened. But yeah, so this is where we're at. And I apologize to start this off on a sad note, but I just wanted to acknowledge that my heart goes out to the victims, the families, people have lost others. So a little interlude, which I probably shouldn't share because of, you know, intellectual property rights, but fuck it, and then we'll get on to the show.
It's time to move on. It's time to get going. What lies ahead, I have no way of knowing. But under my feet, baby, grass is growing. It's time to move on. Time to get going. Broken skyline, moving through the airport. She's an honest defector, conscientious objector, now her own protector.
What is up, party people? Welcome back to the show, and today we are talking about why taking a break could be the most important thing you ever do for your work. Let's go. Yes, welcome back to another episode of the Art Lessons Podcast, folks. I'm your host, Dave Connery, and in this show, we talk about real-time ideas on building a creative business and life, and I do it in two places. I do it on video, and I do it on audio, and for those of you who are listening on the audio version, thank you for hanging out. I appreciate you, but you should know that the video is a tad, maybe significantly, more dynamic because of the visual aspect. If you're visually oriented, maybe you should hop on over to youtube.com/Dave Connery and check it out there, but you do you. You listen on your iTunes or your Stitcher or your SoundCloud if that's how you want to roll. Or you can listen on YouTube and watch and, you know, look at me make a fool of myself on camera. It's totally up to you. I will not judge. Anyway, so today on the show, we are talking about why I'm going to be taking a break. I'm not taking a break yet. You got one more episode beside this that I'm going to be taking a break. I am going to be doing 10 full episodes at that point. This is technically episode number 9. I'm going to be doing 10 all together because, I don't know, it sounds like a nice round number, and I'm going to take a small, short, couple week break. Why would I do this? Couple reasons. First off, I did it before on my other podcast, The Fresh Rag Show, and it worked for me. I was able to focus my energy and bang out a bunch of episodes. After that, I could take a break and I could focus my energy in some place other than just the podcast. I can recharge, feel better about it when I start to come back, but in that time, I can do something that I haven't been able to work on while I was doing the podcast. Let's be real, between the podcast and the videos that I'm doing and all the other content that I'm creating, it gets a little tough sometimes to actually make the art, which is perfectly okay because, as I've said many times before, these videos, these podcasts, all the things that I create are just as much a part of my art program as the art itself. However, there are certain things that are not getting done that I would like to get to, and so I'm going to take a short break, and during that time, I'm going to do those projects and then come back here to hang out with you guys even more. Total sidebar, if you haven't already noticed, I did make sure that the microphone was turned on this week. Hey, props for me, right? Let's get a gold star for Dave for using the technology like he's supposed to. So I mentioned a break because I've got things on my plate. Let's talk about some of those things just to give you a tiny bit of perspective about what I'm working on. Number one, I am going to be finishing the table project. I am doing a group art show in November 4th, here in Long Beach. If you're going to be in town, you should come hang out. That's the reception night, November 4th. I'm going to be in this group show. Everybody got these tables, these modern tables created by this furniture designer and artist named Dave Clark. He made the tables, gave them all out to us, and we are doing whatever we want. I'm working on that table, need to get that finished, obviously, in the next few weeks. Second thing is I decided to jump into Inktober, which actually started a couple days ago by the time you hear this. Basically, that is a daily challenge where I draw something every day for the next 31 days. All of October, I get to draw some little thing. And now, it's not just me doodling into a sketchbook. I will be doodling into a sketchbook, but it's not just that. Some of that work is actually going to go onto the table itself. If you want to hear the whole backstory, go check out the last episode of the vlog. You can go see and listen to everything I talk about there. Not necessary, but basically I'm doing that because I've got the table to do, and it's every day, and so I need a break from you guys because it's a lot of work. I ain't complaining. I'm just saying. Third thing on my plate, and something I have been incredibly lax on, is that I have not done volume 2 or volume 3 of my 100-day challenge books called Patience and Ritual. I haven't finished those. Those were supposed to be done a long time ago. Well, they're supposed to be done last month, but they were supposed to be done. And so I want to get those finished. There's also a compendium. I'm actually considering of just going straight to the compendium first. Holiday season's coming. Let's get the compendium finished, and then I can build volume 2 and 3 for anybody who wants. I want a book that people can hold for the holidays if that's what they want. Let's do that. And then when it's done, then I can come back here and hang out with you guys more. Fourth thing on the plate, which is pretty basic, is art. Need more art. Like the giant canvas that I have sitting behind me right now needs to get finished. Secondary to the table. I have some other little pieces that I want to get done. I want to make some more swag stuff for people to buy again for the holiday season. These are secondary items to all the other stuff. So if they happen to happen, if they do get done, great. If they don't get done, that's okay. The table is priority. Inktober is a priority. Books are priority. Whatever happens after that, awesome. Still coming back in a few weeks to hang out with you regardless if those other things don't get done. Now let's talk about, just for a minute, let's talk about why taking breaks is important. It seems pretty obvious why. Because you need a break, you need rest. But there's an interesting thing that happens with creative people, especially when you get into a rhythm of doing something you all the time. You do the same thing all the time. Do the podcast on a weekly basis. Do videos on a regular basis. You make art on a regular basis. You post up on Instagram on a regular basis. You post up on Snapchat on a regular basis. We tend to think that if we don't do those things at the same pace, at the same frequency, then people will disappear on us. We'll lose the attention that we've had. Here's a big secret that most people probably won't tell you. You are going to lose people. You are absolutely, positively going to lose people if you take a break. However, you are probably going to lose people whether you took a break or not. If you lose people, though, it's not you, it's them. If they're bailing on you just because you decided to take a break, well, then that is their business, and you shouldn't worry about them because they weren't your real people anyway. And that's their business. If that's the way they want to roll, great. You should not sweat them. Brush that shoulder off. I'm good because I've got a core group of people here who is still hanging tough, listening to what I'm saying, and being okay with it. This is a slight divergent topic, but the other day, I posted something on Instagram on my stories where I said, I am no longer paying attention to the numbers because the only person I care about is you. Pointed directly to whoever happened to be watching that story right then. I don't care who it was. Didn't matter who. The people that pay attention are the ones I care about. The people that bail, not that I don't care about them, but if they're not wanting to stick around, well, then there's a good reason for them and for me. I'm not going to sweat those people anymore. I'm going to figure out what I can do for the ones that are here, treat them well, give them good stuff to chew on, and not worry about the other people that just happen to come in and out of our lives at random. We get so caught up in the numbers, so caught up in the downloads, so caught up in the followers or the likes or the hearts or whatever. It's just not important. What's important is the interaction that we're having with the people that are here right now. You, the one that's listening or watching right now, you're the most important person to me. Of course, that's a blanketed statement because several of you are listening to this at the same time and several of you are watching this at the same time. If you are listening and you are watching, then you are the most important person to me. You're the one I care about the most. You're the one I want to hear from the most. Now, bringing this back around to what we were talking about as far as breaks go, if we only worry about the people that matter most, that we know are going to stick around regardless, then it releases some of the tension, some of the burden from our shoulders of thinking that we've got to maintain, we've got to keep up, we've got to build something that people want all the time, 100%, 24/7, 365. If we realize that it's only important for us to be building for the people that care and for the people that want to be here, then they are going to understand that you and I need a break. Once in a while, we need to take a break so we can focus and then come back fresh. For you guys who are listening, when I come back around, you're the one. You're the person I'm talking to. And just like me and you, you've got people that will do the same thing. Yes, you should go take a break too once in a while. Let people know, I'll be back. But I promise you it's going to be great. Taking breaks is also really good for the brain, good for the mind, for the creative thinking. Have you ever been in a situation where you're trying to figure something out? How do I work through this thing? How do I get this done? And you just can't, like your brain is just like locked. You're stuck. You can't get through it. Or you just feel like you're not making the kind of momentum that you were hoping for. So you just take a break for a second. Maybe you go for a walk, or you go take a shower, or you go take a nap, or go hang out with somebody and do something completely unrelated. While you're doing that thing, an idea pops in your head. A profound moment. You have that epiphany. That lightning spark in your head that says, oh, wait, I know what I need to do now. And you grab your notepad or your iPhone and you jot your little notes down. Hopefully you're smart about that, because I've been in situations where I wasn't so smart. You write that stuff down and you come back and you're rejuvenated and you got all this energy to push through on the thing that you were struggling with before. Clarification, I'm actually doing pretty well. I'm actually feeling really good about the process of this whole thing. I'm not struggling with the podcast, not struggling with the videos, not struggling with any of that. The only reason I say struggling is because sometimes we do struggle with some of this stuff, but I'm not struggling. I just need more time. But still, me taking this break is going to give me a little bit of a off switch for the podcast, and that way I can focus on other things, and maybe while I'm doing these other things, new, creative, imaginative, beautiful ideas will blossom, and I will have my notepad with me. I will have my phone with me, and I could jot those down so that when I do come back to the podcast, I will have amazing things to share for all of you. Last reason, and probably most important reason why you should take breaks, you just need a break. You need some vacation time, some shutdown time, some clarity time. If you're a creative entrepreneur, creative business owner, you do your own thing, you work, and you work, and you work, and you work. If you're like me, you love it, but you still work all the time. It's important to take breaks, whether it's a day, week, month, whatever you can afford, just for your own self-care, just for your own sanity, to say, I am not going to do any work in this period of time. Whatever it takes, take that break and be okay with not doing anything. Zero. I know that's impossible because there's always going to be something. And if it's just checking your Instagram or updating your Facebook or your Twitter, there's always going to be something. The regular rigmarole of your life should be shut off. Just focus on you, or maybe you and your family, or you and your friends. Take that time for yourself, because it will rejuvenate you to do the things again. Or, in the case of some of my friends, it puts them in a space that gives them the clarity to think, I really don't love my work anymore. I don't love what I do. And so maybe it's time for me to try something new. Maybe it's time for me to go in a totally different direction. Maybe that clarity is what you need at this moment. I'm not going anywhere. This is not a clarity moment for me. I'm just merely saying I'm taking a break, but I've been in that spot where I needed that clarity break, where I needed that shut off. To be truthful, those moments are what brought me to where I am right here, doing the best work I've ever done. I am incredibly appreciative of the times that I have had those second-guessing moments where it's like, God, maybe I'm not doing the thing I should be doing, and here I am. What I absolutely positively know is the right thing for me. At least for this period of my life, I have finally found the thing, and that happened because I was willing to take time to say to myself, I need a break so that I can collect my thoughts, I can be okay with not doing all the other stuff that I'm doing, and then realize that, wow, now I know where I'm headed. So yes, go take that break, hang out, do nothing but spend time with family and friends or by yourself, your dogs, your cats, whatever your thing is, and then come back refreshed or come back to something brand new. All right, question of the day. So the question of the day comes from Crystal, and she goes by Crystal the CC on Instagram. I'm looking down because I'm reading her question directly from Instagram Live right now. Live, Crystal, you're live. She says, what's the best or most important thing that you have learned while you were in college or school? That is a huge question. So the most important lesson I would say when hanging out at school, meaning you went from high school to college, the most important lesson I would say is make connections, friends, associates, build your association with others. It's those people, those friends that you make now that could potentially help you further down the road. If there was any one thing that I had to go back and do, it would be that, because I didn't make the kind of friends, the associations that I wanted to in college. I didn't build the network that I should have, and I guarantee you it's been one of the things that has held me back just a little. Had I built more of that network, made more friends, made more connections, worked with more people, associated myself with more people, not only would it have given me the potential to network further, longer into the future, it would have also have given me the interpersonal communication skills that I needed back then, which I didn't discover until way later in my life. Let me give you a what-if scenario. What if you decide to go to a school in another state, and then while you're there, you meet a group of friends, and one of those friends has no connection to your major, has no connection whatsoever to the work that you do, but that person just happens to be somebody that you enjoy. And maybe they're not necessarily your best friend, their best buddy, but they're somebody that you're friendly with, and you maintain that connection with them because you have a good rapport. And then years go by, you guys have gone your separate ways, you've gone into your industry, they've gone into their industry, but somewhere down the road, you cross paths again. And maybe it's because you are getting a job at the company that person works with, or your business needs to work with his business, or it's a situation where you're trying to do something, and he just happens to know all the people in an associated business that would work great with you and recommend you to people, or can recommend people to you when you need them. And this really goes for anybody, even outside of college. Building those connections now not only help you feel better about yourself, help improve your relatability to other human beings, but it could help you in the future. So if I had to give my one piece of advice, I would say go make more friends. In a slightly ironic twist of fate, somebody had recommended to me this book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I have not read this book. I don't think they were trying to tell me something. I believe what they were trying to say when they recommended it to me is that I have a certain way about me that helps me get connected to people, and that I might learn even more. It's a good read. That's what I've heard. So I'm going to go ahead and get that book, and you should too, and I will link to it. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Go find it, or just use the link. Artist of the Day. Okay, so technically this is not Artist of the Day, it's actually Art Lover of the Day, and that special designation goes out to my friend Beckie Warren. Beckie Warren is an art curator who just opened her first curated show at New York City. Yay for Beckie! If you're not familiar with Beckie Warren, she goes by the moniker of Girl Sees Art on Instagram, and you should go see what she sees. Girl Sees Art Instagram. Go find her, because Beckie has some very discerning tastes when it comes to art. I love pretty much everything that she's ever posted. 98.5% perhaps of the things that she's posted on her account. Her and I see eye to eye a lot on art, and she doesn't need a big boost on Girl Sees Art, although yes, she does. She needs a big boost on Girl Sees Art, so go find her, Girl Sees Art. Who knows? Maybe if you get connected to Beckie, she happens to be the person that helped further your career. Clarification, do not seek her out just for the connection. Seek her out for friendship. Seek her out for guidance. Seek her out for her discerning taste in art. Seek her out because she's good people, because she knows what she's talking about. And If you build a really great relationship with Beckie, who knows? You may be one of the people that she ends up curating down the road. It could happen. I've talked to her myself about potentially being on that list, and she said, yeah, at some point, sure. I don't press the issue. She knows when she's ready for me. Until then, we're just good friends. I have never actually met her in person, and I will someday. We connect. And that's what's important. And she's really opened my eyes to the way that the art world works from a digital standpoint, as far as digital curation and whatnot, and I'm going to be hitting her up about something else I've been thinking about lately, but that's something for another time, and maybe I'll tell you when I get back from my break. We'll see. No promises. Anyway, go check her out. Girl Sees Art on Instagram. I will link to her, all the sites, everything she's at, the show that she did called Uncommon Beauty. I had to think about that. Go girlseesart.com/uncommon beauty, uncommon-beauty. I'll link to it. I will link to it, and you guys can go check it out. And tell her that Dave Connery said hi. I guarantee you she'll say, awesome! Yes, she will say just like that. If she doesn't say just like that, you tell her that you were disappointed that she didn't say it just like that. Anyway, folks, that's it. I'm done. So I'm out. Like I said, one more episode. We'll get one more episode of me, and I will make it a doozy. I will do my best to make it that, and then we're going to go get some work done. And so now my question to you is, do you struggle with meeting new people? I know a lot of artists do, so I want to know, do you struggle with it? And in the situations where you are forced to do it, how do you make it work? Put all of that stuff in the comments in the YouTube video. Again, youtube.com/Dave Connery. If you are new here, whether you're on the podcast or the video, do me a favor. Make sure that you subscribe, whether you're subscribing on iTunes for the podcast or Stitcher or wherever else you subscribe to podcasts, or you're subscribing on the YouTube. Please do that, because that is the best way to make sure that you get this stuff delivered directly to you all the time in a timely fashion and in the right place. Oh, by the way, if you're on YouTube, make sure you hit that bell button, because that works too. Okay, that's it. Folks, I'm done. Remember, be good today, be even better tomorrow. See ya.